Let's make a list of what can break down gut flora. Antibiotics. One professor of nutrition stated that taking an antibiotic is like dropping an atomic bomb in the gut. What did the atomic bomb do? Basically wiped out the good and the bad. It doesn't distinguish. So antibiotics help to break down that thick flora that's lying in the gut. Also, the contraceptive pill. All your statin drugs, they're your cholesterol lowering drugs. Cortisone. And also a lot of your pain-killing medications.
Hello and welcome back. I'm Barbara O'Neill and welcome back. Today we're talking about a topic that's incredibly important for maintaining good health, foods that can destroy your gut. Many people don't realise that what they eat every day could be harming their digestive system in ways that lead to long-term health problems. Research shows that poor gut health is linked to issues like weakened immunity, mood swings and even chronic diseases. If you're over 40, this is even more critical as the gut becomes more sensitive with age. In this video, we'll discuss which foods you should avoid to protect your gut, keep your digestion running smoothly, and maintain your overall health. Stick around to learn how to make the best choices for your well-being. As a thank you for joining me today, we're giving away 100 free copies of my best-selling book to subscribers. So if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, like this video, and comment why you want to win.
This gut flora is responsible for the final breakdown of our food. It's responsible for the absorption of the nutrients out of the gut and into the blood. It's responsible for protecting the blood against any harmful pathogens that might be in the gut. It's responsible for the nourishment of the little cells that line the gastrointestinal tract. How important is that gut flora? So what would break it down? Antibiotics break it down. All your statin drugs break it down. Contraceptive pill breaks it down. Cortisones, prednisones break it down. Ibuprofen, regular use breaks it down. Now, when you've got gaps in your gut flora, you've now compromised the final breakdown of your food. You have now compromised the absorption of your nutrients through to your blood. You've lost your border protection. And your cells that line the gut have now lost their nourishment. How important is that gut flora? Hippocrates said all disease begins in the gut, and he didn't know the fine details of what I've shown you tonight. So what happens if you've lost your gut flora? It can return. How do you return it? And how do you know? In fact, some of the symptoms are diarrhea, some of the symptoms are constipation. It's called irritable bowel. And that's the connection with chronic fatigue syndrome. The person's not getting the nutrients out of their gut and into their blood, so no wonder they've got no energy. You see, God made it so that we've got strong acid in there to wipe out any harmful pathogens. But oh dear, the person's drinking with their meals. Oh dear, the person's eating all day long. They're stressed out with their meals. So hydrochloric acid's low, so the microbes are getting through. Further down, it's all right. It's all right, we've got another system further down to protect. It's the gut flora. Oh no, they've lost their gut flora. Can you see the two processes to protect the blood have both gone down? And so harmful pathogens can get into that blood. So how do we heal from irritable bowel syndrome? Number one, stop. Stop the foods that irritate the lining of the gut. What are the foods that do that? Caffeine, refined sugar, the hybridized wheat, We touched on the hybridized wheat last night, and I'm going to explore it a bit more tomorrow in the acid alkaline lecture. Dairy. I acknowledge that Lulabelle in the paddock eating organic grass, who gets milked and made a proper cultured yogurt out of it, that can be healing to the gut. But there aren't many Lulabelles in the paddock. If you were to feed the milk in the supermarket to a newborn calf, the calf would die. So sorry, you can't even compare to what's in there. You're best keeping away from it. People say, what milk do you drink, Barbara? I say, I'm weaned, I eat food. Milk is for babies. We're the only creature that drinks milk past babyhood. Number 1, stop all the things that can irritate that lining.
Caffeine can be a significant irritant for the gut lining, especially when consumed in excess. It's present in coffee, tea and energy drinks, and while a moderate amount may not affect everyone, too much caffeine can lead to increased stomach acid production, resulting in discomfort or acid reflux. For anyone with existing gut issues, caffeine can worsen irritation and lead to increased gut permeability, often called leaky gut. If improving gut health is the goal, reducing or eliminating caffeine is crucial to allow the gut lining to heal and support balanced gut bacteria. Refined sugar is another major problem for gut health. It serves as easy fuel for harmful bacteria and yeast in the gut, encouraging them to grow out of balance. This imbalance, known as dysbiosis, can lead to digestive problems like bloating, gas and inflammation. Refined sugar also weakens the immune system, much of which resides in the gut. Instead of refined sugars, it's better to use natural alternatives like honey or maple syrup in moderation to support the good bacteria. Modern wheat is not the same as it used to be generations ago. Hybridized wheat has been modified for higher yield, but these modifications have increased gluten content and other proteins that can irritate the gut. Gluten is particularly problematic for many people, even if they don't have celiac disease. It can cause inflammation and symptoms like bloating, fatigue, and poor nutrient absorption. Replacing hybridized wheat with ancient grains like quinoa, millet, or buckwheat can be a healthier choice that reduces gut inflammation. Dairy is another common irritant. Many people lack the enzyme lactase, which is needed to digest lactose, the sugar found in milk. As a result, they experience bloating, diarrhea, and cramping after consuming dairy. Additionally, conventional dairy is often processed and may contain hormones or antibiotics that disrupt the balance of gut bacteria. Some people can tolerate fermented dairy products like yogurt or kefir, which can actually help the gut if they're organic and properly fermented. However, for most people, avoiding conventional dairy products can help reduce inflammation and improve gut health. Alongside avoiding these specific foods, it's important to look at the bigger picture of overall diet. A diet heavy in processed foods, artificial additives, and unhealthy fats damages gut health. In contrast, a diet based on whole foods, rich in fibre from fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, can work wonders. Fibre serves as food for the beneficial bacteria in the gut, helping them thrive and maintain balance. By cutting out caffeine, refined sugar, hybridized wheat and dairy, you're helping create an environment in your gut where beneficial bacteria can thrive, inflammation is reduced, and nutrients are better absorbed. It takes time for the gut to heal, but with steady changes and avoiding irritants, you'll be on a path to better digestion and overall health.
All of these have the ability to compromise the gut flora. Pain-killing meds all have the ability to break down the gut flora. Now let me show you what happens if the gut flora has been broken down. By the way, let me give you a scenario. I have had quite a few women, pregnant women, contact me and say, Barbara, I have just had a test for strep B. I have strep B. The doctor says I must have an antibiotic drip through my labour. If a woman has an antibiotic through labour, if a woman has antibiotic in her pregnancy, if she's had an antibiotic even in the year before she gives birth, that antibiotic breaks down the gut flora, and so that mother can give a compromised gut flora to the baby. But let me say right now, do you know there is no known case of a baby dying from the mother having strep B? So it is really fair. And let every mother know she does not have to have that antibiotic drip. She can give birth to her baby will not be hurt. So it's important to realise that. Because something even more serious can happen. The baby can be born with compromised gut flora. Now the baby's lost the ability to finally break down, absorb, protect the blood, and nourish the cells. What also is happening too is the baby's now born with a compromised gut flora. Within days of being born,
many everyday foods can harm your gut flora, causing an imbalance that affects digestion and overall health. One big offender is sugar. We have already discussed this. Eating too much sugar fuels the growth of harmful bacteria and yeast in your gut, which can crowd out the good bacteria. This imbalance can lead to problems like bloating, poor digestion, and even a weaker immune system. To prevent this, it's best to limit processed foods, sugary drinks, and sweets. Instead, stick to whole foods like fruits, which provide natural sugars along with fibre to help digestion. Another issue is refined carbohydrates, things like white bread, pastries, and other highly processed carbs. These break down quickly into sugars, feeding the bad bacteria in your gut. A better option is to replace these with complex carbs such as whole grains, oats, and brown rice. These foods are full of fibre, which helps to feed the good bacteria and keep your gut balanced. Artificial sweeteners are another threat. Sweeteners like aspartame and sucralose are found in diet sodas and sugar-free snacks, but they can mess up the balance of your gut bacteria. Research has shown that these sweeteners reduce the variety of good bacteria. If you need a sweetener, natural options like honey or stevia are less harmful and can be used in moderation. Alcohol can also harm your gut flora, especially if consumed excessively. Too much alcohol can irritate your digestive tract and kill off good bacteria, reducing your gut's diversity. To protect your gut health, try to limit alcohol intake. If you do drink, consider adding fermented drinks like kombucha to your diet. They contain probiotics that help maintain a healthy balance in your gut. Fried and highly processed foods also take a toll on gut health. These foods are often full of unhealthy trans fats and preservatives that disrupt your gut's natural environment. They are harder to digest, which leads to inflammation and harms good bacteria. Instead, choose foods rich in healthy fats like avocados, nuts, and olive oil. These healthier options help maintain the gut lining and support good bacteria. To boost gut health, focus on eating foods rich in probiotics like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi, which introduce beneficial bacteria directly into your gut. Prebiotic foods such as onions, garlic, leeks, and bananas are also important since they feed the good bacteria. Ultimately, a diet rich in whole, unprocessed foods is the best way to keep your gut flora healthy. Now let's take a look at what causes stomach reflux and what food to avoid to prevent it.
and how would someone know if they had low hydrochloric acid? I have never met anyone with too much hydrochloric acid. Some people say, I've got too much acid. I say, how do you know? They say, well, it keeps coming up. Well, that problem's not the acid. The problem's a little gate. Now, this little gate here is called the cardiac sphincter because of its relationship to the heart. And it's a muscle. And basically it looks like this. There's the muscle. And when it's relaxed, it's closed. And when it tightens, it opens. And it tightens when you're eating food to allow the food in there. Now, if when the food's in there, it's opening, there's a malfunction. Why would there be a malfunction? If someone's really stressed out and all their muscles are tightening, can you see that? Little muscle will open. But one of the main reasons is that people are eating late at night. And let's have a look at the stomach. when you're lying down. When you're lying down, the stomach's like this, and let's say the stomach's full of food, and because of gravity, that's what it looks like. And so what happens is it pushes against the cardiac sphincter, weakening it. So the two main causes of reflux or heartburn is weakening the muscle through stress and weakening the muscle through having a large evening meal. Now, I believe that in a well-hydrated, well-slept, well-exercised, well-mineralized body, that body copes with stress. But when a person's dehydrated, they haven't slept well, they're not eating nourishing food, they're not handling stress. We all have stress. And I don't think stress causes a problem, but it can be the final thing on a whole lot of other little things that can cause the scales to tip. So how do you heal reflux? Have a breakfast like a king, lunch like a queen, and tea like a pauper. What's tea like a pauper? Tea like a pauper would be a bowl of soup. Or tea like a pauper might be a banana, or it might be an avocado. And if someone's quite hungry because they didn't get a good lunch, they might have 2 bowls of soup, or they might have a bowl of steamed vegetables with a little olive oil and Celtic salt. Those things digest quite easily. Or another evening meal that is light is a smoothie. A smoothie blended up can be digested quite quickly. So the other thing that you can do to help reflux is take magnesium. Now, magnesium is a muscle relaxant. So magnesium will relax that cardiac sphincter so that it will close. So the dosage for someone who has reflux would be 500 milligrams of ideally magnesium citrate, which is the most absorbable form of magnesium, and they would have that dose 3 times a day with each meal, and also just before bed. So that's 2,000 milligrams over the day. Now, that's not forever, that's just until the problem heals.
To manage reflux effectively, it's important to avoid certain foods that can make symptoms worse. For starters, cutting down on caffeine is key, as it can relax the muscle at the top of the stomach, making it easier for acid to come back up. This means limiting things like coffee, tea, energy drinks, and even chocolate. Spicy foods can also trigger reflux by irritating the stomach lining, so it's best to steer clear of hot peppers and spicy sauces. High-fat foods like fried dishes, fatty meats, and rich dairy products can slow down digestion and put more pressure on the stomach, which can lead to reflux. Tomato-based products, such as pasta sauces, ketchup, and even salsa, are very acidic and can be troublesome for people with reflux. Similarly, citrus fruits like oranges, lemons, and grapefruit can increase stomach acidity, so it's helpful to limit those too. Alcohol is another big factor, since it relaxes the sphincter muscle and also boosts stomach acid production. Carbonated drinks are best avoided as well, because the gas expands your stomach and can increase pressure, which may push acid up into the esophagus. Instead of soda or fizzy drinks, opt for water or herbal teas, which are gentler on your stomach. It's also helpful to avoid eating large meals, especially late at night. Eating smaller portions more frequently is much easier on your digestive system and keeps pressure off the cardiac sphincter. Lastly, try to stay upright after meals. Waiting a couple of hours before lying down can make a big difference, as it gives your stomach enough time to start digesting, reducing the likelihood of reflux. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helped you understand which foods to avoid for a healthier gut. If you found this information useful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone who could benefit from it. Don't forget to subscribe for more health tips and insights. Take care of your gut, and I'll see you in the next video.